Hey folks, it's Ron Forsyth here, the chaplain from Shady Hills. We're here at beautiful Matter Park in Marion, Indiana, doing another weekly pills from Shady Hills. John chapter 2, the first 12 verses, a passage that many are familiar with because it was the first miracle that Jesus did, changing water into wine at a wedding. Great to have you with us today. We want to look at this passage. As I look at it, I oftentimes think of journeys, about trips, because much of what Jesus did, much of John's gospel especially, is really about journeying with Jesus. Today's journey is we're traveling to learn more about Jesus, and our tour guide, some may take this personal, but our tour guide really becomes Mary. Mary, his earthly mother. With Jesus, we are continuing to pour the concrete with his disciples on who he is, and we see this fantastic story. 4 stages today. Let's just look at 4 stages as we look at this story. 4 stages would be, number 1, the referral stage. The first 4 verses, Jesus' disciples had been invited to a wedding. The wine was gone, and Jesus' mother said to him, "They've no more wine." And Jesus said, "Woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come." Jesus was all about timing. But I just want us to notice, first of all, that she approached him with the problem that they have no more wine. Houston, we have an issue. We're out of the drink. Too many people, too many have drank, whatever. In some ways, we could see this in the Christian church as the first prayer request. This week we were talking about in our prayer meeting time at Colonial Oaks about supplication versus prayer. Well, this is a supplication. This is presenting a need to God, to Jesus. And even Mary, let's underline that. If you want to, you can bold and capitalize it. Even Mary knew who to go to. She was a special and chosen vehicle of God, a human vessel. But she knew her place was far below what her son was. She was special. She was the blessed mother. I won't go into detail, but I've been through this with my Catholic friends and even with a Roman Catholic priest who was really more on my side than on some of the extreme Catholicism. I agree, underline, underscore, that Mary was a chosen vessel of God. But at this point, in this referral process, when she goes to him with this problem, this is an encounter really of identity reinforcement. He is God. She is human. I'm sorry for those who feel different. It's obvious as the nose on your face as she approaches him with this need. She's not able to do anything about it, but she knows that son, the biological son of hers, who is actually the divine Son of God, can do something about it. To our knowledge, she had never performed a miracle, but she sure knew where to go when she needed one. Mary remained a virgin until the Savior's birth. Later, it appears very obvious in most people's eyes, or many Protestant eyes at least, that Jesus had 4 half-brothers, James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas. And there's quite a story about them. I won't get into detail today because we try to keep these short. But it was Mary who comes to him in this passage that we just read, requesting his intervention because she knows if there's one person that can do something about it, somewhere in this childhood up to his adulthood, she knows there's something special about him. We know from Mark 3 that the brothers didn't even believe in him for a large extent of their time together. But it appears as if Mary never did waver from believing he was something special. Please note also, if you really want to put Mary on the deity scale, that she's never mentioned in the Bible again after Acts chapter 1. So again, raising her to a level of divinity equal to Jesus Christ or anything close is not accurate. Jesus was sacred. He was the Holy Son of God. I want to move now to something very close to that. We go from the referral stage to what could be called the deferral stage. We're going to defer to him. We're going to refer to him that they're out of the wine. And now the deferral, he is the authority. Verse 5, she tells them, even though he has said, my time's not right yet, she tells the servants, do whatever he tells you. Again, this referral and deferral is kind of the same type of meaning, because she's just saying, whatever my son says, you need to do. Merriam-Webster says defer can mean to delay or postpone something, or to submit or yield to someone or something. In a thing, you defer payments, you defer taxes, you put them off, you put them down the road. But with a person, you defer by placing it in their hands, placing something in the hands of another person. Fine line between the referral and deferral process, but both are happening right here with Mary and with Jesus. This was a divine coming out and self-revelation for Jesus. He kept it seems, relatively to a quiet, under-the-radar thing here at the wedding. Not many even knew what he did, but he comes out and people begin to realize again, and the disciples have already been through this somewhat with him. So friends, let us follow Mary. Let us refer our issues to him in prayer, not to her. And let us acknowledge him for something special that he is. And let us assume our role well beneath the role of Jesus. Encounters with Jesus Christ, my friends, can affirm and secure my role with him and encourage me to defer. Early on, Mary knew he was special. John the Baptist, in a very similar way, verbalizes this when he says, I must decrease and he must increase or become greater. John chapter 3. Even now, Mary begins to step aside as her son comes to the forefront. It's a role reversal. It's not easy. Kids have it happen with their parents. Parents see it happen with the children. Mothers become the children sometimes. They go from driving the children around to the children driving them around. They go from changing the children's diapers to the children changing their diapers. Bathing, scolding of children to scolding of parents sometimes. There's a lot of independence that's lost as we get older. And here Mary is losing a lot of her authority over Jesus because of who he is. We tune in. We do far better, friends, if we can just tune in to where we fall in line and get his direction. Do whatever he says. Do whatever he says. Tune in. Sometimes it's hard for me to get those Tiger games on the radio. Try to tune in, though. And that's a whole different message we could have. Thirdly, we had the referral stage, the deferral stage, and then we have the collaboration stage in this story. If you keep reading in Acts chapter 2 here, collaboration means I work alongside him. Collaboration is a big word in the work world today. We collaborate, we work together, we exchange ideas, we challenge each other. And in verses 6 through 10, we see God through Jesus working, but we also see them obeying and doing their part. It's the old song, trust and obey. He tells them to put water in these jars, fill them to the brim, and guess what they do? Verse 7, they filled them to the brim. Verse 8, it kind of repeats it. They did so. After he said, draw the water out and take it to the master of the ceremony. And of course, the miracle happens in that the water turns to a wonderful wine. Jesus works his way, but part of his way is almost always to expect us to do a part. He's going to give us a part in the miracle process, in the process that he's in. And whatever he's doing in history, in life, he wants man involved. It's easy to miss this, but they obey. So it's our job to wait, to observe, to see where he is working, what he says to do, and then we pounce in and do our part. Kind of like some of the cats we've had in the past. One particularly was Tally, would sit for hours by the creek side and by the weeds near our house, waiting for something to happen. But when it did, Tally was ready. We're the same way. We don't want to be the kitten that chases everything that moves, but when God is directing, as we ascertain, I trust, I observe, and then I obey, I do my part. Lastly, number 4, we're going through these quickly. The 4th stage is a confirmation and continuation stage. Now here, I confess, this preacher gets a little preachery, okay? But in verses 11 and 12, I find it meaningful that these 2 verses are included by John here. Jesus did this in Cana of Galilee. It was the first of the signs that revealed his glory. And his disciples believed in him. This has been a journey of belief for the disciples, stages of belief. But John's making it plain here. This is a new level of belief. And after this, verse 12, he went down to Capernaum. Capernaum kind of became his main office, Jesus' headquarters, while he was doing his ministry. But he went to Capernaum with his mother and brothers and his disciples, probably just 4 of them at the time. And there they stayed for a few days. From this first miracle, friends, the disciples, it says plainly, believed. Their faith grew. And here's where I may stretch the context just a little, but they went further with him. They literally walked with him or traveled with him to Capernaum, and they spent more time with him. My biggest take home is this progressive growth that the disciples are going through as I study John. And even if you are not a Christian, please read John, these opening chapters. Just put yourself in their shoes. The miracles help confirm what the disciples already knew was going on. So let's take it home. I'm going to take off my hat. I have 3 real quick prayers to the Lord today for us. The first would be, Lord, help me surrender and participate in your plan. Help me know my role, but help me also to know I have a role. Follow Mary, follow John the Baptist, and seeing my part in your plan. Another prayer request, friends, I would say is, Lord, show me your power. Here's the first sign, the first miracle, John says, that Jesus did. Lord, I'm not dependent on signs, but boy, they are a spark. And I pray that periodically in my life, you would give me those miracle type signs to spark my faith. Lastly, Lord, I pray that you would take me further. Help me, Lord, to want to go to Capernaum with you, hang out in your office. I want to be where you're working, where you're living, and what you're doing, not what we're not. So, Lord, help me in that area. Lord, thank you for this time with these people. Help us to follow your word, and help us most of all to have a great week. Thanks for joining me, friends, these weekly pills from Shady Hills, Matter Park in beautiful Shady Hills, Indiana, Marion, Indiana. Thank you. God bless you. Make it a great week, folks.